Nope, there's no way in God's green earth. I knew that went too easy. There's no way in God's green earth this is going to go in here with the gears. Nope, there's no way. Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. As you can see in the background, that's actually our project for today. I know the title's a little misleading, but not really. Everything's broken. The BMW broke this weekend. The C3 Corvette started having problems again. Of course, I'm sitting on the AMX / Javelin. Actually, haven't started on that yet, so still broke. Gremlin, smoking. It's drivable, but it's, you know, smoking, right? Even the Sonoma's got a few issues here and there, so I'm like, dadgum, ah, right? But anyway, I have been trying, of course, you know, the Sting Ray. I've been excited about working on the Sting Ray. And I'm excited about putting the new engine in the Gremlin, because I'm going to get fancy with the Gremlin. But, so I've decided, you know, for a while there I was thinking about selling it, but for now I'm excited about it. So anyway, and don't forget the 23rd, just quick mention, the 23rd of September, you can see it at the Mopar Music City, try that again, reverse that. Music City Mopar show. Yeah, that's it. Gosh, leaks right out. It goes in, comes right back out. So anyhow, if you want to see the Gremlin and me, and, you know, maybe my wife, she's sort of staff, not really, but kind of. Anyhow, we're gonna get started on the C3. This is the project I've been trying to get to. This car's been down long enough. I want to drive it, and she's got a little bit of cosmetic damage. We're gonna work on that too, but I don't care. I'll drive it with the cosmetic damage. But the cam's it's wiped out. I've already got it out. You saw that video, and I've decided I'm not going to pull the engine out because I can take the pan out without taking the engine out, because of the way it sets back in the cradle. I can actually get the pan out, and that might be easier, you know, whatever. I'm going to put a rear main in it just because I don't want any more Gremlin issues, you know what I mean? I'm going to throw the new cam in that, and I've got a transmission leak that if, you know, I've been putting a piece of cardboard, anytime I park a car underneath it, I got to put cardboard under the, on top of the car so that it doesn't get dripped on by the transmission. So we're going to fix all of that here in hopefully the next few days. Probably not going to get all that done. I'd be happy if I get the transmission out and leak proof, and then we'll worry about the engine another weekend. But for this weekend, that's what it is. It's already Sunday. I started on Saturday actually, and it's a little misnomer because I did get the BMW fixed. Come to find out, the catalytic converter, she got all clogged up. You know, I pulled the pipe off the back of it, and you couldn't see nothing but a big rock in there. And so I got a little screwdriver, and I poked in the back there, and it was all busted up in there. So we had to fix on that. And then weird happening on that is after I got fixed, took it for a little ride, 100 miles an hour. Everything's fine, right? And then a little nut up on the manifold that I never touched fell out. Just fell out right here in the garage. Weird. I was pulling it in, all of a sudden, I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, it fell out. You tell me if there ain't... I gotta quit parking the gremlin in this garage. It's causing trouble. We got gremlins that live here. But anyhow, I wonder. Anyway, gonna work on the C3 today. I know a lot of you out there are excited about that because I'm just excited about it, right? I mean, a lot of you people out there in YouTube land really like this C3. Well, I do too. Trust me, this is the... For now, this is the most powerful car that I own. Okay, this is the rip the tires, kill yourself going around corner car. Okay, it can way overpower the tires. She's heavy in the front because of the big block. 4-speed. I mean, this is the fun car. So I'm really excited about getting this car running again. And for now, until we get the supercharged Javelin going, it should be the most powerful vehicle I own at 425 ponies. I'm not really sure what the Javelin will push. We'll find out when we get her done. That's a long way in the future. We haven't even started on that car yet. So for those that are excited about the Javelin, I apologize. We're probably looking at the end of the year for that car. Maybe we'll see. Because we got to do the Vet now, Gremlin next. Get that new engine in the Gremlin. That shouldn't take too long. And then we're going to get started on the Javelin. If stuff would quit breaking, dadgummit. I'm tired of fixing stuff that I've already built. It just keeps breaking. It's just I let it sit around too much, and that's a problem. I need to probably hire some people to just drive my cars around so they don't break. Right? I wonder if Jay Leno does that. I wonder what Jay Leno's doing today. Probably driving one of his cars. Anyhow, let's get started. Now, I know this might seem a little weird, but I've got a couple of guys that subscribe to my channel. Ooh, mosquito got that bugger. Yeehaw. That they evidently got foot fetishes, you know. They want to see foot pedal action. And every time I move a car, they're like, we want to see you do a cold start on a carbureted car. And so this one's carbureted and got a stick. So I figured, alright, I promised them, I gave them my word. Well, I gave one of them my word, but one is as good as two. That next time I start a carbureted car, which this is the Gremlin, I would let them see the foot action. Alright, now, the Gremlin has developed a little bit of a accelerator pump problem. So, you're going to get a little more foot action than usual. So I hope this makes you guys happy. For the rest of you, this may seem a little weird because we're doing the C3. We're actually going to work on the Corvette today. But we're going to go ahead and do a little foot action on the Gremlin to get her started. You know what I'm saying? So, get the fuel pump going. I don't know if you can hear that, but you can hear the pitch of it change as it starts to pick up fuel. Push in the old clutch pedal. Whoa, she's gonna roll. Egads. Is it still gonna roll? Yep. Is the camera gonna go flying? Maybe. Okay. Now, I'm going to pump her. I'm going to pump it probably like 6 or 8 times because, like I said, the accelerator pump's not working too good. See what I mean? There you go. I hope you guys are happy. There's some foot pedal action for you. Woo! Coming to you live from underneath the Corvette. And we're going to begin just simply by, I'm going to take the U-joint off the back. And then I'm going to take this little pulley here. It's holding the emergency brake cable. We're going to take this bolt off here, and that just lets the pulley come right out. We're going to drop this out. Now, my dad always told me, if you don't have time to do something right the first time, you'll always have time to do it right the second time. So we made some mistakes when I did this entire swap. One of the mistakes was I put the Borg Warner inside the Gremlin, which was actually Borg Warners was supposed to be in this, but it's also supposed to be what's in there. But we got a Muncie in here, and that works just fine. But one of the things I did wrong is I never took the cross member out completely. I let it hang by the emergency brake cable, and I never took it completely out of here. Now, if you take a good look at this, it is a greasy mess. Okay? And I just didn't want to take the time. Well, it's time to take our time. So I'm going to take this cross member out of here completely. We're going to degrease it, and we're going to restore it. You know, the old spray can restoration. Alright, that way, when I go to put the shifter in, I'm not going to get... I got pretty nasty putting the shifter in last time. We had to do a little bit of modifications to get this shifter in here because it was originally an automatic car. So we're going to take drive shaft out, we're going to take cross member out, take the shifter down. I don't know if I'm going to take it out completely. We may just take it down. Might take it out, I don't know. And then we're going to pull this transmission out. It's only 4 bolts to pull the tranny out. And we're going to pull those 4 bolts. We're going to pull the transmission back. I'm going to set it on the bench, and we're going to go ahead and fix on the transmission first. That may or may not be the end of this video. Then, after that, we're going to pull the pan. We're going to clean the pan out because we've probably got a bunch of metal in it from when the camshaft went. We're going to try to find that lost piece of push rod that's missing, and we got to find that. We have to find that. And that's pretty much the plans. I'll walk you through it as I go. I might do a little bit of time lapse on some of this just because, you know, been there before, you know. We'll just start ripping parts out of this car, and when it goes back together, that's when the explaining's going to happen. So I don't know, is this kind of dark? Yeah. Hello, can you see me now? There we go. I don't know, lighting is terrible when you've got door open and you're underneath the car, and, you know, I could do this. I am Grisha. Yeah, no, okay. Anyhow, but lighting is terrible in this business. So anyhow, bear with me. If somebody complained about the sound, please bear with me on that too. I've still got a very inexpensive camera. I don't even have a good phone. I got a flip phone, you know, I'm old school. So, but I do promise, and I made this promise to this gentleman as well, that as soon as I reach 1,000 subscribers, which is not too terribly far off, and you can help by subscribing, I'm going to get a GoPro. And that way we'll have good quality sound. I'll be able to get a sock on the microphone. And we won't have wind noise. Should improve things a lot. This camera's done me well for the last couple of years trying to get this channel on its feet. And we're still struggling. So you can help by subscribing. But anyway, let's get started. There's a few things I wanted to point out. The first one is this. This is as far as you will get this tail shaft, because there's a little doodah right here. See, this is still engaged. The reverse gear is still engaged. I've got it pulled off the shaft, but it's still, the lever's still holding on to it. So the way you get this off is there's a little pin right here, and you got to drive that little bugger out of there, and I'm not a good driver. Nope, that's a lie. So I'm going to need my spectacles for this, because, you know, can't see without them. Sucks getting old. Now you can drive it forward or backward, I believe, and I believe I'm going to drive it forward because that just looks easier. So let me get my drift, and we'll get started on that. Now this drift looks to be almost the exact same size, so I'm going to brace with my hip here, because, you know, that's the way to do it. Starting to move. I think this drift might be a tiny bit too big, or actually it looks like it's got a little burr on it. Nope, that's aluminum coming off. So we'll get a smaller drift. I'm the last guy you should take advice from as far as transmissions go. But I've got this pin probably 90% out, sticking out the back over here. And I'm just going to gently pry on here. There it goes. See? And it's coming up like that. And I'll show you what's in there and why we went that route. Just trying to wiggle it out. Try not to ruin that seal unless you're going to replace it. That may be enough. What it is, there's a little doohickey in there, and I don't think that's up enough. We're going to have to get her to come up a little bit more. There's a keyway that pin, oh there we go, that should do it. There's a keyway in there that pin gets into, and it's still engaging. Isn't that crazy? I don't think it's going to come up anymore. Maybe. Oh, yeah, oh, there it goes. I just heard it fall. There we go. Okay. Yeah, well, I heard it fall, but there it goes. Okay. Now, my question is going to be, oh, there it goes, is how, ooh, that's nasty in there. We got to clean that out anyway. This is what we were trying to get out of there. This was riding on here. And that's how you shift, you know, it goes on here, and, you know, and then you shift it, and that goes, puts it into reverse. See, there's your reverse gear, goes in, meshes, you know, whoop, there you go. So that's how that little doohickey goes in there. Now, it's in here, and here's your shift lever, alright, and then this just fits in here. Now my question is going to be, when I go to put this back together, how do I get that on there? We'll figure it out, okay? Oh, sorry. How do I get that on there when I'm putting the tail shaft on. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get that far. But in the meantime, this is really cruddy in here. This transmission seized up and sat around for a long time. I think I showed you the video on getting this loosened up. So there's a little bit of rust inside, but she's still fully functional. And, you know, trying to clean out the yuck, you know. But she had a leak, so that's why we're in it. Oh, I don't like the looks of that. What the heck? I don't know what that is. Well, it looked like a spring. But you know what? I actually think it's looks like a mealworm. How it got in there, I do not know. But we'll clean this all out. I'm going to take this off for safekeeping. And there's a couple of other things I wanted to show you. Again, I'm the last guy you want to take transmission advice from. I'm only doing this out of desperation. And I'll be honest with you, when I pulled the case out, I heard a bunch of crap fall. Bearings and what have you fall out. And I about wanted to die. I'm like, oh no. So, this is way out of my expertise. Not that I have expertise. But anyway, we're going to put this aside for safekeeping. And clean up the shaft here. No, we're just putting gaskets in this thing. And I don't even, there's the gasket. And there's the other one. And it was leaking down here somewhere, so I'm gonna do the thing that you're not supposed to do. Eek, gas. And I'm gonna put some Permatex on these gaskets when I get done. But meantime, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to show you real quick. And on the end of the shaft, which is right here, you'll see all these bearings. All right, most of them are in here because they fell out. And this is something that needs to be shown. If you can put them, I've got them held in with grease, and that's how I was going to put it in. But I'm going to be finagling this thing, and it is going to be a fiasco. So, what I'm going to do is this. Not the greatest camera angle in the world, but you'll be able to see. In here, this is where that bearing goes, okay? And it seems to me that if I put all these little bearings in here, the trick is to make sure you grease it well. Lots and lots of grease. I'm just going to use my fingers because that way I can get lots and lots of grease, okay? You see they're starting to fall out over here already. Yep, see? So, the idea is to get lots and lots of grease to hold them in. Alright, and I'm going to try to hold it on the edges so that I'm not losing bearings every 2 seconds. And then, sorry, trying to watch what I'm doing and watch the camera at the same time. Then we're just going to put these in where they belong. Gotta hold it up here. Jeez Louise. I'm the worst camera guy in the world. We'll just put it right here. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we're just going to try to fill in these blanks. The grease is hopefully going to hold it in there. That one had a little piece of dirt in it. And I think that should be all of them. Nope, I'm missing one. Oh, crapola. Chances are you're not going to see anything but elbow, because I'm going to try to put this bearing in through this way. And it's only going to go in one way, so this is going to be a little bit of a... Come on, baby. Simply going to start taking the gasket off now. Now I'm using a razor blade. You got to be careful because you don't want to gouge the aluminum at all. So we're just going to keep on working this out. Once we get the paper gasket off of there, we'll give it a treatment to, you know, to clean up the aluminum. Now I'm going to use a pneumatic disc. Because we're dealing with aluminum, this one's kind of worn out. And I don't really want to be digging at this at all. So we're just going to shine it up a little bit. We're not going to spend a lot of time in one spot at all. So I'm just going to go through here, try to clean up the surfaces. They're decent now, but you still feel they're kind of rough. We're just going to smooth them out. It almost looks like there's two pieces here. I think that's just a knit line. I hope to God that's a knit line. But anyway, let's get started.
Someone to save. I want to tell you something new.
Up on end to get to this side, just made it easier. It's going to be more of the same. We're going to clean the case over here. We're going to clean this off, and then of course the tail shaft too. But I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Just assume that I have, this is where the gasket is, so the rest of it's going to be just a matter of just cleaning it off. But I'm not going to sit here and make you watch as I clean all this stuff off of this one. So just assume, just imagine. I can only imagine what it would be like to get this gasket off in one big push or big peel, whatever. Anyway, so we're just going to go to the next frame. I'm going to put a light coat of Permatex on here, except for my Permatex is dried up. Yay. It's not, just got to get a nail or something in it. Some people like to put a steady bead across it. I just like to put a thin coat just so that the gasket will hang in there, you know what I mean? And I'm going to put the gasket on this side because I'm going to be wrestling around with the one on the case, and I don't want to get it caught up and damaged in the case. So this is just to take up any little nicks or grooves or any kind of imperfections in the metal. And that way, see, like there was a snot in the Permatex right there. That's why I like to use my finger, because if you get that snot in there and you don't notice it, then you're gonna have, you might end up with a leak. And I don't want any more leaks. That's why we're doing this in the first place. And I went ahead and put a hydraulic throwout bearing in this thing. And that greatly complicated my life in the long run. So, so we're just gonna put a nice thin bead, and this is just basically to hold the gasket. Everybody argues about what's the best Permatex. In the old days, it used to be the black. Might still be. I don't know. I'm gonna use the gray. Everybody seems to think the gray is pretty sweet too. I don't know. Whatever one's cheapest is usually what I use, to be honest with you. But now that I've got a thin coat of Permatex on there, actually this isn't even Permatex, it's just high temp silicone. I always use the high temp stuff because stuff gets hot. Alright, I think this is how it goes. There we go. It's got a little dowel there to kind of keep things in place. So that's good. I'll put that gasket on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a thin coat over here on the case as well. And no sense show you that, but we're going to, oh, I'm going to put some, oh, duh. Oh yeah, we're going to put it on the case. I might just put it on this side of the gasket instead. Okay, because like I said, we're going to be fumbling with the case, so I think we're going to go ahead and just put it on this side of the gasket, make life easy. I'm just going to put it here. Since we're sitting here doing the same thing, aren't we, boy? It'll go on nicey nice. I'm going to make sure I get plenty around that dowel in case it hangs up a little bit. There we go. Thick enough lube. This takes pretty thick lube, kind of like a rear end. A lot of rear end covers don't even have gaskets. I prefer to use them because Permatex, you know, breaks down over time. It's really only to take up the little air gaps. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll get to putting this thing together. Now this may end up being a try again sort of thing, because I have the shift collar on right now, but when I took it off, all this came sliding off. And because I couldn't get by this past the larger gear inside the case. And that may still be the case. No play on words there. So I'm going to try it this way, because this thing, there's a bunch of little moving parts in there, and if I can't get this in all in one chunk, then I could have problems. Now I also need to get this thing in here, and I'm not sure if I can get it in once the cluster's in. I'm hoping I can. I don't see any other way. It's kind of got to be out of the way, so there should be a way to get it in there. I think there is. So here we go. I'm going to take this off of here. Okay. Get these out of the way. And let's see, get this lined up. Not too worried about that being lined up right this second, but there we go. And then we're going to try to snake her in here. Don't believe I'm going to be able to get this past that gear and in here at the same time. It doesn't look like. Yep, it's not gonna. Maybe if I just sneak it forward a little bit more. I need about half an inch of space here. Golly, what kind of setup is that? Nope. We're going to have to pull this collar forward just a tidbit. Hopefully it won't lose all the stuff that's supposed to be in it. Come on, baby. We're close. There we go. Maybe, maybe, maybe. my... There we go. There. Ooh, by Jove, I think we got it. Now we just gotta line this dowel up. There we go. Woohoo! It is in there. Alright, now, where'd that cap go? I was kind of supporting it under here earlier. It's got a little that dowel right here. That actually went better than I expected. Now, can I get that gear in there? Alright. So now, we've got to put this piece in. And again, please don't take my advice. I am far from... Ooh, we got a little bit of damage on that reverse gear, but just have to go easy on reverse. I am far from an authority on transmissions, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Now this has, to my knowledge, it goes this way in here, flat side out. It's going to go on here like so. Alright. But it has to go in here, and there's a little keyway on the... Oh, well, wait a minute. It does have a keyway. Not 100% sure where the washer goes, but there's some wear marks right here. So I'm guessing it's got to go in here somewhere. I'm not really sure why it's got that little notch. I thought this looks like an oiling hole here that I thought was a notch, but according to looking at this, you can see the wear ring, and then you can see here that it's been wearing, unless it goes this way. No, because it looks like, if you look at the ring, it's got wear marks all the way around, so it has to be, well, non-necessary, right? Well, you tell me where that washer goes. It's got a notch in it, and there's some spinning looking stuff going on up there. So I'm going to put it in this way, I think. I don't like that necessarily, but... Well, okay, that makes sense, because there's an oiling line in here, and this has oil grooves in it. So, I think that solved my dilemma. Now, can I get it in here? That's going to be the fun part. Nope, there's no way in God's green earth. I knew that went too easy. There's no way in God's green earth this is going to go in here with the gears. Nope, there's no way. It has to be in there when you put the case on. I'm guessing by sticking this in here to hold it. So yeah, after everything we just did, oh great. That's just fantabulous. Yep, mistake number one. Crap, it went nice and easy too. And that bearing is going to fall apart when I take this out. Yay, no sense you all watching that all again, but this has got to go in first, this gear, and then I'm going to use this pin to hold it in place until all of this goes together. So no sense letting you all watch me suffer to do this again, but at least now I know it can be done, and hopefully it'll be just as easy, if not easier, the second time. Yay. Alright. After a few hours I finally got that in there. It took me quite a while, believe it or not. Now I've got this piece that we discussed gooped up in there pretty good with grease. I should probably put a little grease on the end of this shaft. And anyway, just goop a little bit up in there. Now, I'm going to have to try to figure out how, get a little bit of dirt in here. I'm going to get that to mate with that. Fun, fun, fun. Alright, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do that. I guess I'm not sure which position. Yes, as we put it on. Oh, jeez. Oh, see it. Oh, I see what happened. Oh, this is just yay. Let's try this one more time. Oh. What happened there? I'll tell you, this has been how this whole job's been going. When you're unfamiliar territory, you ever drive somewhere where the territory is unfamiliar and it takes forever, or at least it seems to. I was kind of hoping to have this day over fairly quickly today, but because of numerous setbacks, like I put the reverse gear in, not the reverse gear, well yeah, I guess it is the reverse gear in backwards. I kind of don't really want to put a lot of pressure on that. Oh, that's pretty sturdy. Okay. Paint cans, who knew? Alright, now it looked like I was getting somewhere until everything went cattywampus on me. So, we're going to put this back on again. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on this. Can't see nothing. I think if I pop this down, I think what I want to do is pull it back so I can see it. It looks like I might be on there. Yep, it looks like I'm on. So, the only other thing is there's a keyway on the shaft, which has to be lined up in here as well. And that is threatening to go cattywampus on me again. And I'm obviously not there. So, there's a few things that have to be lined up. Pull it back a little. Oh shoot, so now my whole shaft is coming out. We don't want that for sure. Oh crap. That's because I'm resting on it with a can. We don't want that to happen at all. Dang it. Oh, there we go. Got lucky on that one. By the grace of God, there go I, right? I'm going to be honest with you folks. I was about as aggravated as a man can get on that because I had put the reverse gear in backwards. Or not the reverse gear. I don't know what that is. I think it's the reverse gear. Put it in backwards and it messed everything up. And then I couldn't get it to come back out. It was not good. So I resorted to the one and only thing a man can do when all is hopeless. I prayed. Yep. The old-fashioned God help me. Now I realize he's busy. And I hate to make him an all-important. Why does that not feel like it's doing anything? I think it's doing something. Let's see. Gotta put these two in neutral. There we go. Oh, it's doing something. Okay, shaft's going that way. Actually, that should be neutral. Okay, that's neutral. And that's reverse. Okay. It's a working. Alright. Now, I got one bolt in there. We're going to put a couple of them. Evidently, these bottom ones... Oh, I don't know what's up with that. That one don't even go. Ooh. Is that an extra long one? I guess it is. Yep. So now, I'm going to get a few of these in here so I cannot get things screwed up any further than I already did. But long story of the short story is, all else fails, pray. Works for me. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing was jammed up tighter than my wife's pocketbook. You know, I'm telling you what, that is tight. That woman, I swear you can't pinch a penny out of that woman's purse. So, there we go. Let's start putting these bolts in. Look at that, somebody used a flywheel bolt or some sort of another bolt anyway. And we've got these just started in here, just so things won't go awry. And I really like having this thing tilted up this way. It's not overly sturdy that way. That's the only problem. Anyway, you know, maybe. Oh, I got a can of black paint over here. Let's try that. Should never, ever, ever. Yeah. I think that'll work. Never ever touch your paints with greasy hands. Yep, sure. I think that seal needs replacing too. That looks pretty cruddy. We're going to go ahead and yank that seal while we're at it. Probably would have been easier while the tail shaft was off, but you know. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to tap this doohickey back in here. To keep this, you know, down. Because of the bolt, it's going to be hard, so we're going to do it this way. Well, there we go. Alright. There we go. We got reverse gear. Woohoo! Alright. Let's finish putting these bolts in. How not to put gears, gaskets in a Muncie 4-speed. Yep, we got her done, but whoo me, oh my, that was a chore to say the least. And I'm talking very slow. Alright. Where's my ratchet? Now you remember I took these bottom ones out with the pneumatic. That's not happening. Oops, that's not even the right socket. What the? Oh, that's from the front covers. Okay, making sense. What'd I do with my sockets? Ay, ay, ay. Well, alrighty then. I'm gonna do the bottom ones first. What the heck? Get in there. Alright. Ooh, wee. Ooh, wee. Permatex squishy everywhere. That's how we know we got it good. Alright, now I'm going to get a regular, I guess we can use this one, but I think I'm just going to get a regular ratchet, and we're just going to torque on these, you know, to the appropriate torque. As soon as I find a ratchet. Alright. Oops, very loose, very loose. I'll say that's roughly 40 pounds of torquage. If we have to, once it's in, we can torque it down some more. We needed to squeeze all that Permatex. Oi, give me that back. Out of there now. Some people will say, don't use Permatex on a gasket, use just some kind of a gasket cement to hold it in place. And they're not wrong. The gasket does the sealing, and when you go to take this apart, it is going to be a nightmare if you ever take it apart again, because there's going to be goop everywhere. But I don't want it to leak, so I am not taking any chances. This is going to be once, doing it once. And I figure with all this extra Permatex in the way, we're pretty safe. I hope. Anyhow, there we go. This job has been, I'm not going to lie, transmissions scare me, and for good reason, because they're scary. When you start pulling things apart, you hear you know, and you know a bunch of little crap just fell out. Now just about all of them, including the Mopars, which I would much rather work on a Mopar 833 4-speed than these Muncies and or Bob Warners, only because they're a little simpler to work on. At least as far as pulling the tail shaft on goes, because you could pull the whole shaft out. I mean, if you watch my video on the 833, it's pretty easy to change the front bearing. You don't have to go through all this finagling with the shifter levers and everything. So, but anyway, neither here nor there. We're at this. This looks terrible, so we're going to go ahead and pop that out and change that rear seal as well. I thought we put a new one in this when I did this job, but I'm going to say nope, you didn't. So let's go ahead and fix on that. There are numerous kinds of seal pullers. There's this kind, and then there's the kind that have a little slide hammer on them and it hooks up in there, and they all work. And if this one don't work, then we'll be using the slide hammer style. I'm pretty sure this one will work. And there goes my paint can. There we go. It's the only problem when you start getting kind of hard on stuff. You got to have the workpiece. There we go. You got to have the workpiece pretty secured. Look at all that. Look at all that. I'm pretty sure we never, ever, ever changed this rear seal. I must have been on the Gremlins. On the Gremlins transmission that we did that. This poor Corvette. I'm kind of glad it messed up, just because it needed some fixing. We even got a bunch of crap down in here. I'm going to dig all that out. There's a sleeve that your yoke rides on. Sometimes, I think I did replace that on the one for the Gremlin. But I've not driven this car enough to wash this transmission out, but she was cruddy. Get it as clean as you can. Like I said, this is not a how-to video, especially on the transmission part, because I'm no transmission guy. But if I can do it, you can do it. You can do it! I don't believe it's that. You can do it. I don't know. But we're going to clean that up. Well, those splines will do a job on your knuckles. I've learned a lot about Muncie transmissions today, though. Let me tell you that. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about the learning experience. You all didn't get to experience taking this transmission apart 6 times because I made a mistake with this or that. But you saw the first one, and I said, okay, I'm going to have to pull it back apart. No sense you watching that. And I did that, and then I put the gear in backwards, and I had a couple other things go wrong, and I wasn't able to, let's just say I probably did it 6 times at least. The last time was a glory hallelujah moment, let me tell you. So, anyway, we'll clean this all up nicey nice. Get the new seal, which is right here. Uh-oh. Now they did send me the seals for the shifters. All right, but they aren't leaking, and so I'm not going to mess with it. But I am going to keep them because that's something I can actually fix in the car. You can pull the shift levers off. Pop those seals. Ah, there's an O-ring too, which I'm not sure where that goes. But this goes always, the open end always goes towards the oil. Alright. First things first, and I don't know if I've got enough left. We're going to put a little Permitex. Oh, there's some left. Okay, good. I always like to put a mess of Permitex along the inside edge. I just realized my radio is playing, which could definitely mess up my video because of copyrights, but I can't even hear it. Of course, I'm a little deaf, so hopefully the camera's not hearing it either, because I don't feel like going to shut her down at the moment. So if they copyright me, well, you know, it is what it is. Alright. This will probably be full viral or something. Great. Anyhow, okay, where'd that seal go? Now, the best way to put a seal in, you can just tap, tap, tap around the outside edge. What I like to do is find a socket that's roughly the same size, or a seal driver. But because this shaft is sticking out, a seal driver is going to be kind of hard. But just going to get a socket that's roughly that size and just tappity, tappity, tappity. Got me a BOS, big old socket. And this is actually like some kind of sensor socket. And then a brass hammer, because we don't want to mess up my socket, right? So we're going to make sure we're trying to go straight here. And then we're just going to tap. Try to keep this going in straight. I like to make them flush. The way to do that is after you finish pounding it, you can pound it all the way till it bottoms out, and that's fine. You can do that. I usually just make it flush. We can bang her all the way in if we want to. There we go. It's not going to make a difference, but you know, if you want to just get a little bit of Permitex around this outer edge just in case, yeah, you could do that, I suppose. We'll do it just for safekeeping. Honestly, Permitex on the outside probably isn't going to do anything. Like trying to fix an oil leak, you have to get behind the leak. So this is probably just a total waste of time, but I'm going to do it for the sake of doing it. Just because I like the way it looks. It's like, don't leak on me kind of look to it. There we go. Alright. Ain't that pretty? Nope, not really. Anyhow, I know I'm a Permitex freak. I don't like leaks. In fact, everything that I have that leaks will eventually get fixed. In fact, very shortly from now, we will be doing a video on my Dodge 3500, fixing a front main leak on that. But for now, we're almost done with this bad boy. So let's get this paint can out of the way. Man, I gotta clean the shop. God. Let's get these gaskets out of the way. Get this paint can out of the way. There we go. Watch the fingers. Alright. I'm going to have to adjust a little here. You don't want to lose the label on my black paint. Black, you can never get enough black paint. Alright. So, let's go ahead and put this socket away so it doesn't get lost. I guess I'm also a grease freak. I'm going to put some grease on these just for the initial first start and initial making everything until we start getting some oil moving up and in there. Plus this is going to help them to stay in one place. Grease is the secret to making things stay in one spot while you're doing stuff. And once the lube starts running through, it'll wash away. It's not going to hurt being in there because it's lubricant. Now in an engine, yeah, you probably don't want a lot of grease. They make specific greases for engine assembly. I do have some of that, and that would probably be recommended. And when we go doing engine stuff, we'll show you that too. I got a bunch of little gasket shards in there. Alright, make sure this is clean. Make sure this is clean. Alright, and then we're back to the Permatex again. Same thing, same bat time, same bat channel. A lot of times people recommend you only put the Permatex on one side if you do. And I've seen that even on professional engine builder shows. And so I've done that as well, just to kind of hold it stationary while you're doing things. This actually has a dowel hole. So really, if I'm going to put the Permatex on, I should put it on the forks, but since I'm going to be handling the forks, I don't really like that idea. So we're going to put it here. So I'm probably going against the grain here. Almost positive I am. Well, we might be able to get this last job out of this tube of Permatex. We're trying. Getting hard to get anything out of there. But we're just going to put a little skim coat. We ended up putting more on the tail shaft than I expected just because I finagled with it so long that the Permatex started drying up, and I had to, just in case we had some snots, I put a little more than I normally would. Alright, here we go. The side covers are something you're probably going to change open quite often. So you got to be a little careful about whether or not you're gonna put too much. Okay, see, these are idiot proof. Look, you can't put them on wrong. It only goes on one way. So you know why things are idiot proof? People like me work on them. Well, I've already got some Permatex on the gasket on this side, but I don't think we're going to worry about it. Maybe put just a tidbit along the edge. Nope, I think we're done. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to put a little bit along the edge. There we go. And I think that tube is shot, so. Alright. Now here's the moment of truth. Drum roll, please. Alright. Now Now these are in there pretty good. If they don't stay in, then I'll put some more grease on them. They're both in neutral. Okay, I think we're in. Put a couple of bolts in. Now, I think, maybe not. Okay. I thought maybe some of these went all the way through to the inside. But nope, they're blind. If they had, then you would want to put Permatex on your bolts too, but they don't go through, so we're not going to sweat it. Alrighty. We'll get these snugged down and then we'll see if she shifts. That's the proof in the pudding when you get them to, you run them through the gears. We already tested reverse and it was working. Of course, we've not tested it. There we go. Now we've tested it. We did test it when everything was loose, but we never tested it once she got full. I don't like that non-washer deal being at the bottom. It's gonna leak. That's where it's gonna leak, is the bottom. There we go. Now, where did that socket go? There's one, but that ain't it. What is that doing there? That's got to go back in the house. Not my house, but the... Here we go, 1/2 inch. There we go. If I'm not mistaken, this ratchet automatically torques them at 30 something pounds. So, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Nope. Good thing about that is there's plenty of room. I'm going to go ahead and fix that with a tap. I'm going to put a tap in there, clean that up. Yeah, she was only holding on by 2 threads. You can see where it stripped right there, the last 2. So, but she's tight enough. We'll get a tap, get a slightly larger bolt, fix that hole. But let's go ahead and test the gears. She's in neutral right now, so it's going to go, I'll try to remember. First. Yep. Second. Third. Fourth. Oh yeah. Neutral. Yep. Reverse. Yep. Well, yeehaw! Can I get a yeehaw out there? Well, I'm looking pretty rough. This has been a rough job. Getting it out of the car turned a little bit more difficult because brilliant me decided to go with, you know, a hydraulic throw-up bearing, and I had forgotten. Well, I just watched my own YouTube channel, that'd have been alright. But I had forgotten how it comes off. I was hoping to not have to break it loose. I probably didn't have to, but too late now. But I did manage to do it without losing a lot of fluids. But nonetheless, putting this gasket in, I took the tail shaft off of that 833 with very little trouble. This thing was a cold sweat nightmare. Not because it was really that difficult a job, but more because I don't know what I'm doing. And I do want to thank, I've subscribed to a couple of YouTube, well basically one, because I looked at a couple, they weren't no help. This one's probably not going to be any help for you, but I did look at one that he was very, very helpful, and so I subscribed to his channel. Anytime I watch a YouTube channel and it helps me out, I help them out by subscribing. It'd be nice if you did the same for me. This video is not really a how-to rebuild your transmission stuff or fix a leak in your transmission. This is more about fixing all the problems with the Vette so that we can drive it, do some smoky burnouts. And this is going to be step one, getting this transmission squared away, and it's now squared away. Well, except for I gotta, tap that one hole. That'll be nothing. That's no big deal. The next step is going to be, I still haven't pulled the flywheel off, but it's getting late today. We're going to quit. This will be the end of this one. Next episode on this car, we'll be taking the flywheel off and replacing it with a new one, because I think I accidentally put a small block. Small block and big block are interchangeable, except for the 454 is externally balanced. Now I probably could switch it out with a 163 tooth 400 crank. 400 flywheel. Getting tired. Because the 400 small block is also externally balanced. But you have to externally balance the 454s, and I think if I put a small block on it, because when I started her up before the cam went, I had a vibration. Now that could have been because the cam was going. I don't want to take any chances. We're this deep into the car. I bought a brand new flywheel. They're not expensive if you buy a stalker. The car's not a high performance. 425 horsepower. Sure, that's a little bit of juice, but that ain't no drag strip, slicks. It'll be fine. I don't need no billet flywheel or anything like that. And that's it. People tend to overbuild their cars, spend a lot of money on stuff that's not necessary. They had 400 horsepower cars, back in the day, and just doing smoky burnouts and going to the drag strip on the weekends with the regular stuff that came from the factory, with your nodular iron flywheels and your regular, limited slip differentials and stuff like that. So, I stick with stock stuff unless I know the thing's going to be a beast. If I'm going to race it on a daily basis, I'm going to do clutch drops or torque converter drops at 6,500 RPMs. Well, yeah, I'm going to put in some good stuff. But these are street cars. In this car, the tires on the back are not the best. What are they? They're Radial GTs. I'm not even sure what brand, but probably Dunlops or something. But they, Hercules. They're Hercules tires. They don't grab to save your life. They're nothing like the tires that I put on the C4, nothing like the tires that I have on the Beamer. The Beamer, I think, has Nittos on it, and the Mickey Thompsons that are on the C4. And those things are like gum. And for the corners that they take, that's gum is good. This thing, well, she's got a corner, but not like them, because she will come around on me and things will get bad. So she's pretty much a straight line boulevard bruiser, more so than she is a corner carver. Now we may change that in the future, but for now we're going to keep her a boulevard bruiser. That's pretty much it. I'm going to finish talking now because I'm tired. I'm going to finish tapping that hole and go in the house and get me some din-din and spend a little time with the family. And you should do the same. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. See ya!